Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host, Mikey. The other day, I was working on Bruges Lace and I figured out the formulation to be able to change this in any size using just a double crochet stitch. So what I realized is that as long as it's an even number of rows, it can be adjustable in any size. And as long as the multiple in the width is correct, you can actually circle around. And Bruges Lace is done like a racetrack where you have the spaces that you put in first, and then this section right here is done back and forth all the way around your concept. So what I was thinking to myself, can it be done with corner to corner? And the simple answer is yes, it can, but there are some changes that need to be made in order to make this happen. The tension is slightly different. So what I did is that I did a corner to corner square. You can also do a rectangle. It has to be an even number of boxes. So in this case, you see that there's 8 boxes. So how do you tell the boxes? If you pull it apart, there's 1 box, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so if you have an even number of boxes, it'll work. Even if it's a rectangle, as long as both sides are an even number, this concept will work. The difference between the Bruges Lace of the last sample I just showed you is that because of the tension difference, we have to compensate by putting an extra connection in the corner to allow this to spin, because when I did it the original way of the other way, it was causing this to overlap like this because it was buckling. So we want to cause it to sit flat, and I'm going to be teaching this concept today. So whatever you decided to make the square, and go to the video description, there's resources for you on how to do corner to corner, either rectangle or double or square. If it's a double crochet version, then this concept will work because there's a half double crochet version in our channel as well. Whatever size hook that you use to do that, you're going to increase your hook size by 1. So I used a 5.5mm size I crochet hook, but for the border itself, I need to start and use a 6mm size J. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to frog this out, and then I'm going to show you step by step in order to make this concept. So I'm going to leave this in your capable hands, because if you have an existing corner to corner and you've never done a border, this is a cool concept that you can do for yourself to give it really a final look. That will be awesome. And without further ado, let's begin to start and learn. So let's move along and add our border to an existing project. So I used a 5.5mm size I, so I'm going to increase the hook size to size J, 6mm. The tension is slightly different on this, and so because of that, I have to increase the hook size. So you can use any color that you wish, it doesn't really matter, but use the same type of yarn, of course, to be able to begin. So you can start on any side, even if it's a rectangle and it's growing out, as long as there's an even number of boxes, this concept will work. And we're going to start right here and begin our first pass. So we need to go once around, and then the Bruges Lace is then done back and forth all the way around. Let's start. Okay, so let's get our yarn on the hook. So we're going to start with a standing single crochet right into any one of the corners. And you're just going to go on in, and you're going to yarn over a pull through. So now you got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both of those. This is a standing single crochet. And I need you to chain 2 and apply another single crochet into this corner. So the corners will be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain that later. So we're going to move along the side. So you're going to see box and box. This is 2 boxes, obviously, right? So before you can get to the next box, you have to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pass 1 box, pass the second, and go right here. Everything is working in sets of 2. This is why you have an even number of boxes that you need when you're doing this concept. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 1 box, here's another one, here's the space after the second box. Single crochet right into the space. And you're going to keep doing this until you get to a corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 box, 2 box, that's the space after the second box. And because there's an even number of boxes, when you get close to a corner, you're going to have one box, and there's your corner. So chain 5 to get there, and go right into your corner. And in the corner, as I said to you, we're going to chain 2 and single crochet right into that corner. So you just naturally turn the project, regardless if it's a rectangle or square, it doesn't matter. And you're going to chain 5. Okay, so you got one box, two box, go into the space after the second. So you know what to do now, so just chain 5, one box, two box, space after the second. And then you'll get to your corner, and then make sure there's a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right in the corner. And please do this all the way around, and this is your first pass around, and now you've just established your spaces. And I'll be right back at the end of the round. I'm coming all the way around, and I'm just chaining my last 5, and I'm going to slip stitch it to the first standing single crochet, and this will bring you to a conclusion. Okay, so it should not be pulling on any weird way. Okay, so it shouldn't be buckling, it should be sitting flat, and we need to end this yarn. The Bruges lace is floating on these spaces, and I'll explain that in more detail in just a second. But what we want to do is we need to get a fresh start, even if it's the same color, so that we can continue the journey. And I'm going to teach you an easier way to be able to manage this concept, and that's coming up next. The Bruges lace is floating on these chain spaces that I just had you create. In this sample, it's right here. These are those same spaces. But what we have to do is we have to compensate for the way that the corner is going to turn. And so in this one is slightly different than what I'm about to show you. And what we have is that I can tell you a certain amount of spaces that you need to do certain things with, but if you can visualize it, we can do it. Each one of the Bruges lace has one connection when it's on a regular side. So it comes across, connected, just once goes back, and then it comes back and then connects to the next one. So there's one connection in each one. So from here, there would be one connection here and one connection here. The connections that are in the corners, there's 2 Bruges lace connections. So there's 1 and then there's 2. Okay, and in this side of the corner, there's 1 and 2. But in the concept I'm about to show you, there's going to be 1 and 2. There's going to be 1 right in the corner, and then 1 and 2. And the reason for the change is that based on the sharp turn of this corner to corner, we need to put an extra connection right into that chain 2 space. That's why I had you do it. So the easiest way to do it is to know that you have one connection when it's in the middle of a side, and then if it's the space before a corner, there's 2 connections. There's a space in the corner connection, and then there's 2 connections in this space. And then it goes back to one connection, and because the corner is already here, there'll be 2, 1 into the corner, 2 connections, and then back to 1 again. So you don't need to count these when you're doing these kind of spaces. You just have to look for the space before the corner and after the corner, and knowing that you're going to put 2 connections into each. Without further ado, we're going to begin the process of going around. I'm going to have you start in the space before you make the turn. There's going to be 2 connections here, 1 connection here, and 2 here, and then we go to 1. When we go to start though, we're just going to put this aside, and then we need to get ourselves established. So we're going to go back and forth in the rows, and we're going to get ourselves started on the side here, and we're going to connect it really soon, but we're not ready for that yet. To do that, we're going to chain 10, and watch what I do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pinch. Okay, that pinching is the first stitch going in, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And right where I pinched, I can move my thumb back, and that's the first stitch that you're going to double crochet. So wrap the hook, move your thumb backward, and expose that chain, and double crochet. And now you're going to have 4 chains left over, and you are going to then put in a double crochet in each. Okay. Sorry about the dog. And then come into your last one here before the edge. Keep on moving. So you should have a total of 5 double crochets here. So we came around. This here is popping out as part of the edge detail, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now ready to do a connection. So we're going to come into this space right here before the turn, and you are going to connect. If you're going to connect and you prefer to connect a certain way, then do that same connection always. Just be consistent. So I'm going to sneak up underneath it, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through to do a slip stitch to connect that. I don't need to turn the whole project upside down to go back across this. All I need to do is just flip this. Now I'm going to chain 2, and across only the 5 double crochets that you see, there's going to be 1 double crochet in each. So we're heading towards the outside of the blanket as we're crocheting now. And there's a point of telling you that. So you have your chain 2, didn't count as anything, it's just a builder, and then you got your 5 double crochet. Do you need to count the 5? Not really. As long as you know that you're only putting in 5 and you trust your counts, you're good. So flip it back to the right side of the work. So we've just connected once, and I told you we need to have 2 connections here. So we're going to start, and we're going to come back towards the body of the blanket. So we're currently on the outside of the border. We need to create this loop, and we're going to do that by chaining 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and double crochet immediately into the first double crochet in each of the double crochet back to the body of the blanket. There's only 5 double crochets, so that information will not change. You don't hear me counting because I trust my stitch counts, but if you want to count, that's up to you. Okay, so if you don't include this loop here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we've headed back towards the body of the blanket, this is when we connect. And so we're going to do our second connection in this same chain 5 space. So you can move things, it's just around there. So connect it with a slip stitch, flip over, and chain 2. That's just a builder, and fill in the 5 double crochet with double crochet. So you're heading towards the outside of the blanket. I've been using a lot of Bernat blanket lately, so I'm used to a larger hook. That's my excuse today, folks. And now flip it to the right side. So you can see now we have 2 connections. So these are 2 Bruges laces coming in, just like that. And so we're now going to head towards the center of the blanket again, the body of the blanket. So we're going to chain 5. So you'll always chain 5, and that will create that loop. And you'll fill in, starting with this one where it's coming out of, and you'll do your 5 double crochet in a row. Now, because we've headed back towards it, we want to connect. So we already have 2 connections here, so we don't want to add another one. So we want to connect around that chain 2, right in the corner. So this is your connection in the corner. Flip over and chain 2. and put your 5 double crochet in a row. This is not a hard concept, but it's hard to understand the instructions for something like this. And many of us are used to doing borders where we just go all the way around many times. In this case, it's just once. So we're going to flip it back to the right side of the work, and you're going to chain 5 to start the process to go back towards the body of the blanket. Start after the chain 5 and double crochet your 5 in a row. This is going to force it to naturally turn. So we've got to connect now. So we have 2 here before the corner. We have the corner connection already done. So our next connection has to be in the space after. And there's 2 connections in that one. So this is the first one of 2. Flip, chain 2. And do your double crochets all the way to the outside of the blanket again. Flip to the right side now, and now you got to head back towards the center again, so you're going to chain 5. And start your double crochets going back towards the body of the blanket. So the corners have more of the Bruges lace concept than the sides of the blanket itself. So they take a little bit of time to go around the corner. Okay, so we only have 1 connection here so far, so this one has to be the second connection that we need. So slip stitch, chain 2, and double crochet back. So you're going to find moving down the side of the blanket will be much faster than turning a corner. Okay, flip over. And now we're going to head back towards the body of the blanket. So see how it naturally turned? Pretty cool, right? So now you're going to chain 5. So that will never change. And then do your 5 double crochet back towards the blanket. So you can really just see it's just 2 rows back and forth. It's just the connections change. So we're back. So we already have 2 here. So this means, and see the distance, it's naturally sitting right where it's supposed to. And so you'll connect to that one. So now all of the spaces before you get to a corner will just have 1 connection each. So slip stitch, flip, and you can just flip the border. You don't got to flip everything. So chain 2 and double crochet yourself back towards the outside of the blanket. Assuming you're doing a blanket, you could do a placemats or anything that you want, something like this. Flip back and head towards the body of the blanket again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then double crochet the 5 in a row. Okay, so I told you there's only 1 connection. So, and you see where the distance is? It's naturally lining up. So it's just 1 connection in each of those spaces. So turn, chain 2, double crochet out towards the outside of the blanket. I'm not taking you all the way around. I am just telling you what you need to do, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera. Okay. then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then come on back. So I already at a corner because I'm just doing a swatch with you on camera, meaning a mini sample. And so when I come back, now I come to your next space. And so this is the space before a corner. So there's going to be 2 connections here, 1 into the corner, and then 2 into this one, and then it's 1, 1 all the way to the next corner. So what I need you to do is just to repeat this concept going around. And if you need to reverse back the video, you can, but it's just naturally going to follow around just like you saw. Okay, and I'll see you at the end of the round. So I'm almost all the way around. I still have one more step to do. I have 1 space that's left, and we know that this is part of the first corner that we started with. So we have our 2 connections, corner, and then our 2 connections. So we're going to connect to this final space, but we're not done. So if I connect here, these 2 here will be side by side. We want that space of the double crochets in between. So we're going to flip and do our last row. So we'll chain 2 and do your last 5 double crochet. I didn't want to put the seam line in the middle of the corner because they're so attractive. So I got my 5 in a row, and now I'm going to trim this long enough that I can get it through a tail to be able to sew it to the 5 double crochets that started this whole thing. Let's just pull through. And now we're going to whip stitch this together with the tapestry needle. Okay, so we'll have that on there. And you're just going to glide it across the top and glide it towards the first double crochet that you see here. This was the beginning chain. And just go across. This is called a whip stitch. Come to your next one and then match it to the next one that is directly across. Okay, next one. There's only 5 to connect to. Okay, and I'm going to take this to the back side. So I'm currently looking at the right side of the work. Take it to the back. And I'm just going to just tie it just so it catches itself into a little mini knot. And now I'm going to just weave it through 3 times. Try to catch some of the plies, not just the whole strand, and don't let that needle come to the other side of the work. So enough in that it's not too deep. We're going to do one more pass. The 3rd time is the charm. So any loose ends, you're going to want to do that with back and forth 3 times, and then you can safely cut it. So I'll have to do that with the beginning strand that I started with as well. And you can see that I've just gone all the way around. Let's just back you out a little bit here. And you can see it sits nice and flat. And so regardless of the size of the C2C, this Bruges Lace concept will work for you. And we hope that you've had a great day today and learned something new. Leave me a comment and see how you feel about this concept.